Hey there everyone, and welcome to this JavaScript ES6 and beyond tutorial series. In this video, we will be talking about function scope, block scope, and constants. So let's begin. In the previous video, we installed Node. Now to check if Node is successfully installed in your system, run the command node space -v. This will show you the version of Node installed in your system. If the commands run successfully, then Node is correctly installed. Now let's create a project folder in our desktop and name it JS ES6 and open it and create another folder inside it for the first video and call it #1. So let's open this folder in our command prompt by going to desktop and changing to JS ES6. Let's open the folder #1 also. Now we need to open our Visual Studio Code inside this folder, so let's run the command code dot. This code dot command actually runs Visual Studio Code in the current folder in which your terminal window or your command prompt window is open. You can also go in Visual Studio Code, file, and go for open folder. Now let's create a new file named index.js, and let's first off start with the simplest thing, a hello world, so that we can get a touch of how we can give an output in the console window and what pattern we will be using throughout this series to get the output from our code. So to get an output in JS, we use the console.log statement, console.log, and then the message, which is hello world. Now if you save this file and go to your command prompt and write node space the file that we want to run, index.js. Notice we are inside this folder where the file is. If we were not there, then we must have to give the path to the file. So for this time we can use node space index.js and hit enter. It says hello world, which is what our program says to do, to log in the console hello world. If we change it to hello coding owls, it will simply just give us the same output whatever is in the message. With ES6, JavaScript now has two ways of declaring a variable, var and let. Var uses function scoping, which means the declaration of var is always at the top of the function. Let us understand function scoping with var and see what does it do. So let's create a program to understand this thing, an example code. Let's declare a variable x and give it a value 5. Now let's log this out and see and create a function and name it, let's call it showVal and give it no parameters, and we want to log the value of x, and then we also declare another x and we say let's give it a value 7, and then we again log this x, so that we will understand the code a little bit sooner. The way I'm writing the code is a little rogue, and let's call this function here after the console.log statement, showVal. So if you save this program and go to your command prompt and run this, let me just make it a little small so that we can understand things. So if we run this and I write node space index.js and hit enter, so you will see it prints 5 for this statement, and then it goes and calls the function, and then we go to this statement console.log x. For that it prints undefined, and then it prints the value of x7 for the third console log statement. Now what actually happened here is that var uses the function scoping, which means the variable declaration of var is always put at the top of the function while compiling. So when the program runs, it looks like this. So var x, and x is declared at the top of the function without any value, so the value is undefined, and the console log statement prints undefined. But x is equals to 7 is then initialized value to x, and then the log statement prints 7. But this is not the case with let. Let uses the block scoping. The block scoping does not do this kind of stuff, and rather the element is only available to the block after when it was declared inside. So if we remove this thing from here and go back to var x, and we do the same thing, the same program, and make it let, and we save it and we run node index.js, and now it prints an error in the line number 4, which is this console.log state. What actually happened is that this let x equals to 7 is block scope, and the value is not available before line number 5 inside the function. In this statement, the x is not declared, so it cannot be accessed, and that's why it says cannot access x before initialization. So this brings on a better way, because think of it like you committed a mistake that you printed x or used the value of x before its declaration, and you were using var and it shows you undefined. So undefined doesn't catches your attention, you just ignore it, or because you're not logging it, so you just can't see what happens with the program. But this error certainly catches your attention, and that's why this is the more better way of doing it, and that's why this was introduced in the ES6. Well, in ES6, another type of data was, or another way of declaring data was given, which was const. Now const is used to declare data which value cannot be changed or the value cannot be reassigned. Basically const is a abbreviation for constants. So if I say const x is equals to 5 and log this, so it is pretty much the same way another variable is, but there is a big difference that you will notice in the next few seconds. So it prints the value of x, but now if I do this kind of stuff, if I say x is equals to 7 and run this same file, you'll see there's an error, assignment to constant variable. That is, we cannot assign a value or reassign actually a value to a constant variable, and we cannot also keep it this way, which is a bad way of doing it, because initialization is required for const. You can initialize it to undefined if you like, but you have to initialize it. Now if you see, if I run this, it will run, but it should be initialized. You cannot leave it like const x, you cannot leave it to declaration only. Now with these new ways of assigning data or using data or variables inside JavaScript, there arises the question, what should we use, let, var, or const? Well, in my opinion, let should be used whenever you require to have a value to be changed. Const should be used whenever the data value will not be changed, because const is a more stable way. Well, I will say no, do not use var unless it is like your subtle requirement, or unless you are maintaining a legacy code which is from the previous versions of JavaScript. Don't use var, because this is not the right way of doing it. Let came into existence with ES6 for the purpose of serving the problems that var arises in JavaScript. So guys, this is pretty much it for this video. We will understand more about JS in the next video. If you have not subscribed our channel yet, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Also hit the bell icon to get the notifications of upcoming video. And as always, thanks for watching.